All right, hey guys, Jay, aka Superman here from Tech Solutions. Just wanted to make a quick video. I wanted to talk about Tag No More and certainly what we have as far as a demonstration of that working. I'm going to go ahead and do just a short video here just to kind of show the demonstration of it working, and then I'll go ahead and separate it out and do a second part to a video in addition to this one that goes through the technical information, certainly goes through the setup and implementation logic of how it essentially is set up. So wanted to start with just a demonstration review of actually it working. This is set up in a local test environment utilizing the same constructs of what our previous version of our monitor tag, our ENT and our EVE code use. So let me just start with just talking about a high-level overview of what we're doing here. So if you're not familiar, our previous version of our monitor tag code uses essentially what we call like a bridge or a plugin to return back, if anything, plugins and other things back to the page. It's called deploy.asp. It's an ASP file posted on our back end. So really the concept or the thought behind it is what we would use is this deployment file, this plugin, to essentially determine if the customer that we determine whether or not we want to do a tag no more for is the account number, and if so, we can then determine with logic to return live engage the tag, the LE tag, back to the end page or the browser's page that's coming in. So that's really the concept in a nutshell. Is we're just going to piggyback off of this deployment plugin file to determine whether or not they're a candidate, and if it's on and it meets the criteria, it's just going to return live engage back. Live engage tag back in order for us to be able to give them the ability to use live engage without re-tagging their website for whatever reason, constraints or resource issues. So that's really the goal here and the concept behind that. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and I'm just going to jump into it and just walk you through. All right, we have a test page here. So I'm basically sharing with you a test page that essentially coded up with our old EVE code. It's essentially using that deployment file. It's using plugins to basically return back the buttons to the page, and as you can see, this is just a page that I did like 5 years ago for my certification, just to show you that there's a dynamic chat button, a voice button, and a multi-channel button on the page. And so nothing special. I mean, this is just a simple deployment page. So if I give you an idea of what that looks like, it's just this deployment example HTML file, and it does nothing more than calling our normal mtag.config.js file. So nothing special about this page. What I ended up doing is just to give you an idea of what it looks like, I created a duplicate copy of deployment example, and I just called it deployment example number 2. And the only difference is that it uses a different mtag config. So again, our normal mtag config is what deployment example is using. Well, the second version I'm about to show you is just using this modded mtag config file. And the only thing that's different with this modded mtag config file is that it points back to a copy of deploy, that deploy2.asp file that's normally shown or normally served up off the server, but it's just being served up off my local host. And the reason why is because I got the actual logic for tag no more added into that copy of deployment or deploy2.asp, just to show you that we can take the same exact type of web page that's tagged with our old code base, and it can essentially return back LE tag, and the site is essentially now available or able to use live engage. So that's really it in a nutshell. So again, nothing special other than we're just going to use a modified version of the deployment file that's on my local host. So let's go ahead and switch over. And again, this is just my local test account. It's not live engage. So again, if I bring up the second live engage or the deployment example that should be serving up the LE tag, it's basically the exact same web page, expected to not return back the buttons. Essentially, the plugin would not complete. It instead just serves back live engage. And so the live engage tag is essentially put on the page, as you can see here. And I'll show you the difference between the deployment file. So as you can see with this new deploy file that I'm essentially pointing to, it's basically pointed back to my local host, which has the additional tag no more logic, the additional code, whereas the previous page didn't. So if we go back to the previous page and you look, it's doing nothing more than just pulling in the normal deploy2.asp file off of the live person server. So again, that's the only difference. So here's the solution working. So as you can see, we have now live engage available to the customer. They didn't have to retag. We're going to put this on the back end in our deployment file in order for us to bridge that gap. So just to show you that it works, I'm logged in as online in my Alpha Live Engage test account. I'll go ahead and start a chat. And I'll go ahead and accept it. So let me go ahead and accept. And let me just say hello. Hi from Superman. And let's just, and there it is. So, hello. Oh, if I can type. But yeah, so that's it, guys. It's nothing more than just taking, our backend deployment plugin and adding the tag no more logic to allow us to serve up live engage tag back to the site when and if they cannot retag. So that's it in a nutshell. Again, I'll go ahead and create a second video that kind of goes through the technical pieces of it, but I hope you enjoyed this one, and please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.